Come learn about oobleck. Here we go. Hi, welcome to Cubby Science. My name's Kevin. If you're new to the channel, thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you find something you like. If you're not new to the channel, well, welcome back. That's awesome. If you like this channel, please consider subscribing and then hit the notification bell so you'll know when I post new content. And don't forget to find the video description, click or tap this gray arrow. Happy learning. In this video, we're going to be doing the activity called Magic Ooze from the My First Mind-Blowing Science kit. And I'll put a link in the video description to that kit if you're interested in purchasing that, as well as a few other things that I'll mention during this video. Now, from this kit, the only item that is needed is the prepackaged corn starch. This material that we're going to make is non-hazardous. Just please don't pour it down the sink because it can harden up and cause problems there. So be sure and throw it away. Cleans up very nicely. If you do use food coloring in making this, it's very possible that it could stain the skin for a lot of different names. You may see it as just ooze, goop, goo, also oobleck, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then the scientific term is a non-newtonian fluid, which goes against the Newton's laws of viscosity, or how thick something is. So it's really cool. It's really neat to play with, neat to make. So here we go. From the kit, I'm going to go ahead and use just a measuring cup. It asks for about 1/8 of a cup of water, just a regular tap water, and I may adjust that a little bit as we go. And then 5 tablespoons of cornstarch. These are heaping, obviously, so I'm going to use almost all of what's in here. Actually, we're just going to go ahead and use all that's in here anyway. Alright, as I said, I may have to add some more water. So we'll stir this up a little bit. Now I'm going to drop, in this case, you could have colored the water. I'm just going to put some yellow food coloring in here and see if I can get it to change a little bit of color, so maybe it's a little bit easier to see. And you can find tons of videos on this on YouTube. I'm going to put a link to one if you like Mythbusters. I'm going to add a link to one of their videos that does a cool activity or experiment, I guess, with oobleck, which I like calling it, or this ooze, this magic ooze. And this is a little, I probably added just a little bit too much water, but you can kind of see it is liquidy. It acts like a liquid, but it is pressure dependent. The harder you push on it, when it's a little bit thicker, it's almost like a solid, but then it will just kind of like melt away and become like a liquid. So it's really awesome. I'm going to mix this in a bowl that I've already made some with, so I'm going to pull that up here so you can see this. You can kind of see how this looks like a solid. I'm going to do something so it's like a solid, but then it'll run like a liquid. Okay, I'm going to get my hands in it here in just a little bit, and I'm going to mix this yellow in with this purple. The lavender my wife wanted to make is her favorite color. Now if I stir this up, you can see it kind of sits there like a solid, but it'll also just spread out almost like a liquid. I'm going to add this in, which will add a little bit of water. I have no clue what color I'm going to get. This is just for the fun of it.
Okay, so that's one way of adding some liquid to it. Now I've got a little fruit basket. I think strawberries or blueberries came in it. And when I get this just a little bit less viscous, like a liquid, I'm going to put some in that. We're going to see what will happen with that. I've also got a golf ball. I've seen where people put this in a cookie sheet and let the oobleck spread out onto the cookie sheet, and they can roll a marble or a car across it. And in the Mythbusters video, somebody actually walks across it. So that's, as I mentioned, that's one of the videos I'll put at the end of this video, so you can see that. So the colors, you still see the yellow in there, but here is the vegetable basket. Let's see what kind of result we get from this. So you can see it's acting like it's so crazy the way it acts. It's like a solid, but also like a liquid. So you can see it kind of straining through there. So coming off the spoon, it looks like a solid. Silly putty is another example of a non-Newtonian fluid. I'm going to put a link in the video description to some silly putty if you're wanting that. But such a cool material. Scientists really don't even know why it acts like this. It acts like it has solid properties and liquid properties. And I mean, it's just hardening up on the bottom of this. If I can get it before it runs out. So it's crazy. It's really neat, but it's crazy too. Alright. So some had hardened up from me playing with it last night on the basket. And you put it in here, and with the moisture it just kind of spreads right back out. Alright. Here's the golf ball. It hits it like a solid. Now if I leave it there, it will sink right down in there. It's difficult to pull out of. It's like quicksand. Quicksand is another example of a non-Newtonian fluid. So I get some of that, it just almost hardens up almost immediately. Here's a hammer. Sorry about the mic there. Nothing on it. Alright, here goes the fun part. So I can go in here and grab this and make a ball out of it, almost like the silly putty if you've ever played with that. Okay, so it acts like a solid, and then if I leave it here, it just oozes right out of my hand. Just like a liquid, or semi-liquid, semi-solid, semi-liquid. Okay. So now it's becoming gray where I mix the yellow and the lavender. Okay, so you can play with the consistency of the liquid in it, the amount of water. Easy to clean up. I know this looks messy, but it'll clean up very easily. So I can almost keep the shape, but again, it's pressure dependent. As I keep pressuring, squeezing it, applying pressure to it, it'll kind of stay in that solid form. But then again, when I release the pressure, it loses that property or that ability and becomes somewhat like a liquid. And you can see it breaks off almost like a solid. So hopefully this has been fun. Hope you found some interesting things that you can do with this and make it at home. Very easy. Cornstarch and water, that's all it is. And the kit, as I said, comes with the packet. And don't add as much water as I did. And just experiment with it.